Hi, this is Matt with State of Flex, here with my list of the 10 best movies of 2022 so far. This is the last day of June, making it the halfway point of the year. So, I'm going to give you my picks for the 10 best movies so far this year. This has been a pretty stellar year, I'd have to say. There's been quite a few that I've really liked, and I could see a lot of these holding on even through to the very end of the year. So, this is going to be in alphabetical order. We're going to start with A for Apollo 10½. This is Richard Linklater's really cute film about growing up during the Apollo 11 moon landing in Houston, Texas, through the eyes of a 10-year-old boy. It's really cute, really charming. It's on Netflix. This is one of the best coming-of-age stories that I've seen in quite a while. And this is one of my favorite Richard Linklater films, which is quite saying something. His Before trilogy is spectacular, and who doesn't like Boyhood and Slacker? He's a great filmmaker, but he taps into that energy he had with School of Rock while utilizing the framework of Boyhood a little bit to deliver such a good coming-of-age story. Check out Apollo 10½. And then we're going to move on to The Batman. This movie is spectacular. For my money, this is the best movie about Batman. This might not be the best Batman movie because The Dark Knight exists, but The Dark Knight is hardly about Batman. The Dark Knight is about Harvey Dent and Two-Face. This movie is firmly about Batman, and it's every bit as much about Batman saving Gotham as it is about Gotham saving Batman. And that was a unique vision to take. It's a beautiful film, and the moment that Batman comes out of the dark and into the light at the end of the film is the most inspiring imagery I've ever seen in a Batman film. For my money, this is the Batman. Alright, moving on to Chip 'n Dale Rescue Rangers. Who would have guessed that this movie wouldn't have been a downright clunker? This movie is really fun, kind of borrowing the framework or reinterpretation of Who Framed Roger Rabbit, but it is done with style, it's done with energy, it has humor that lands, brimming with cameos, just as Roger Rabbit was. Roger Rabbit is in fact in this film. Ugly Sonic is a big element of this, but it's more than just the cameos. This has a story, this has heart, this has humor. This has to have your eyes watching it on Disney+. It is a shame this didn't go to the theater. I guarantee you this movie would have done considerably better than any Lightyear would have. Though I did like Lightyear, check out my review. That said, Chip 'n Dale Rescue Rangers is fantastic. Moving on to Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, yet another one you can watch on Disney+ at the moment. This one kind of gets the pass because Sam Raimi is able to tap into his traditional Sam Raimi visuals and give you the best looking Marvel movie, hands down. This is great in terms of its visuals, it's also great in terms of dissecting character. Now, this is a divisive film because if you do not like the journey these characters take, you are not going to like this film, radically so. So I kind of see where some of the hate is coming from, and not all the decisions I'm comfortable with. That said, by and large, it weights to the plus column for me to make this a firm recommendation and a great use of your time. See the spookiest Marvel movie in Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. Moving on to Everything, Everywhere, All at Once. This is the movie that has been making headlines because it is the most ground level of blockbusters in that it is a lower budget movie that is so high concept and is directed so excellently by Daniels to deliver on said concept and elevate the works beyond the constraints that our summer blockbusters are usually confined to. This is a smart movie. This is an emotional movie. I guarantee you not to have some kind of cathartic release by the end of the film within your own personal life and relationships with your family. This movie is damn near perfect and a shoo-in for the Best Screenplay Oscar at year's end. Moving on to an unsung film called The Fallout. This is on HBO Max. It's an HBO Max original that I really wish would have hit theaters because it is incredibly relevant. It's kind of hard for me to talk about this film because it hits so close to home in the recent weeks, recent days really. This is a film starring Jenna Ortega, who I will be talking about again. Foreshadowing, Jenna Ortega leads this film, The Fallout, as a young girl in high school who endures an active shooter situation. This is her dealing with the fallout of the actions taken that day, learning how to survive with the fallout, with survivor's guilt, and with collective trauma. And it is a beautiful film that will never not be relevant because our country demands that we keep guns in accessible hands. And that's quite a shame, and this film is a stunning exploration of the fallout that nobody really likes to explore. It's a beautiful film. It's hard to watch. It is an emotional journey. It is great. Check it out on HBO Max, The Fallout. Moving on to Fresh. If ever you wanted a Sunday bum day movie, Fresh is your title. This is a Hulu original that came out of Sundance, starring Sebastian Stan, who's most notably Bucky in the Avenger movies, or MCU movies rather. And this is a rom-com with quite the bite. And I guess I'll leave it at that. If you like romantic comedies and you like kind of sort of torture porn movies, this is the movie for you. Moving on to my favorite film of 2022 is RRR, or Triple R. This film, directed by S.S. Rajamouli, is a brilliant film. It is the best action film I have seen in decades. Literally decades. It is brimming with the energy of a young Robert Rodriguez or John Woo, coupled with the storytelling techniques and philosophies that I found really kind of interesting and complex. The characters, the way they weave together is really interesting, and it's more interesting that they're based on real historical figures in a fictional meeting of these minds. And what comes is a tremendous action movie that has some of the best musical numbers I've seen in years. Every musical number in this stands shoulder to shoulder with anything seen in Spielberg's West Side Story, which I gave a brilliant review to last year, or hell, even like La La Land, which is my favorite film of the last decade. Triple R is worth your time. It is on Netflix, and you need to watch this film. I don't know what you're doing if you're not watching this film right now. Within the first 20 minutes, a man has a fist fight with a tiger. If you're not sold, I don't get you, man. But live your life happily. And maybe check out the next movie, which is Scream. This Screamake, or requel, or whatever you want to call, is really good and really taps into the energy of, or the, not the energy, the legacy of Scream. This is a commentary on the Legacy sequel, and really gets Scream right. I was concerned because this is the first or second time we've gotten somebody that isn't Kevin Williamson contributing to the screenplay, and they were able to tap into the voices, tap into this world, and tap into the commentary necessary to make it a relevant Scream picture. And it's better than most of the sequels, I would say. It's very good with some hefty dramatic constraints that the film must adhere to, being a legacy sequel, while also being a kind of genius remake of the original film. And I loved it. The more I see it, the more I like it. It's kind of that good. It has one kind of glaring problem, and if you're not going to be able to look past that problem, you're probably not going to like the movie. And I get it, because it took me a little bit to warm up to. That said, I loved Scream, or Five Cream, whatever you want to call it. Moving on to my last pick, which is Pixar's Turning Red on Disney Plus. The repeated refrain is, why didn't Disney Plus just release this theatrically? Because this would have performed way better than the movie that they did release theatrically. Take your pick of which one I'm talking about. But Turning Red is Pixar at its finest. This is them having the same creative heft that they were noted for with films like Coco, with Inside Out, with any of their early works. This is a film that thoughtfully examines puberty and menstruation through the allegory of big red pandas. And who doesn't like that? It's funny, and the one thing that makes it a little jarring for a Pixar movie is it doesn't necessarily tap into that emotional heartstring pulling that a lot of their films do. This movie just allows itself to have fun, and Pixar can show you that it can make a groundbreaking movie that is allowed to have fun. And that's something you don't always see. A lot of their groundbreaking pictures, your Wall-E's, your Ups and stuff like that, Toy Stories and Toy Story 3s, you typically hone in on the dramatic moments of those films. This movie doesn't necessarily have those dramatic beats, yet it is a bit as good and stands shoulder to shoulder with all the quality films that I previously mentioned. So, check out Turning Red. That list, one more time, in alphabetical order, is Apollo, 10.5 on Netflix, The Batman, currently on HBO Max, Chip 'n Dale Rescue Rangers, currently on Disney Plus, Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, currently on Disney Plus, Everything, Everywhere, All at Once, which I believe is the buy-rent window for streaming, The Fallout, which is on HBO Max, Fresh, which is on Hulu, Triple R, which is on Netflix, Scream, which is on Paramount Plus, and Turning Red, which is on Disney Plus. Those are my top 10. What are yours? I know that a lot of people might be asking, where's Top Gun? Where's this other movie that I may have forgotten? There are a couple movies in the recent weeks that I haven't had a chance to see. I really want to see The Black Phone. I've heard nothing but fantastic things about that. There's Top Gun Maverick, which I have missed, and there's movies I'm looking forward to, such as Thor Love and Thunder, which I hope makes this list for year's end. I'm a big Taika Waititi fan, so I have that to look forward to, as well as a number of other movies that I'm really looking forward to. Drop down in the comments below, what was your favorite film of 2022 so far? Thanks for watching.